All these patients complaining they can't get their medicines. Insurers and PBMs are often owned by the same giant company, so middlemen, like me, decide what medicines you can get and how much you pay. But don't worry, if your prescription gets denied, we know another one that works for us. I mean, you.
Washington should stop PBMs and insurers from driving up drug costs. Learn more at phrma.org/insurercosts. Paid for by Pharma.
Ready to relax in your dream bath retreat without the stress of figuring out every detail yourself? At the Home Depot, your bath remodel is covered. Shop fully designed rooms and curated bath collections to go from inspiration to transformation fast. Use digital tools to visualize flooring in your space and find everything you need, from tubs to toilets and all the tile in between, to bring your vision to life. The Home Depot. Dream baths built here.
Ooh, it was spicy in that room today. Greg Cote came in, and Greg Cote has sat in this chair, Zaslow, and his phone just pinged, and I just said, Greg, that was your phone, because he didn't look up, didn't seem to hear it, and he's like, I know, show hasn't started yet, buddy, relax yourself.
Oh, that's because I walked in when he said "relax yourself."
Yeah,
I didn't know what that was.
So, but that's just the end. You're just catching the tail end of the spicy. He's got something for you today. He's got something for me. He's got podcast ego that's out of control, and so now he's picking fights. He's looking for beefs, and he comes after you in a way that
me?
Yeah, oh yeah, he came after you.
I wouldn't say that.
You feel like you're on that level?
Chris Cote, Chris Cote, what would be your analysis? Do you believe that your dad, did he or did he not come after me? Yes or no?
Yes.
Did he or did he not come after Zaz?
Yes.
Okay, so did you think you were going to come here and do this quietly today?
There's a big difference. I did come after you. I did not come after Zaz. I reacted to being questioned
I'll be the judge
about
of that.
Zaz. So there's a difference.
Relax yourself.
I love that phrase. I'm surprised it didn't make my top 50 catchphrase countdown.
What did? You don't know.
No, I do know. You want me
He learned his lesson. He wrote it down this week.
He wrote it down this week. Where are his artifacts from his garage? Because I heard he was complaining at the bowling alley that not enough was made of his artifacts last week.
Well, that's true if I'm being honest. You know, if I'm going to take the time to go through all my memorabilia and present a few things on the show, at least, make a big deal out of them.
Greg, we did have that as a segment, and it died on your watch. You just stopped bringing stuff in.
Well, because the first time I did it, it did not receive the...
What are you talking about? It was wildly popular. Show and tell with Greg Cote. You brought something in from the game room of Curios. We were all like, this guy's weird, and then it just went away.
Okay, all right, maybe I'll bring it back.
No, and you know where,
Jack.
Mike, you know where it went away last week? Because he's like, not enough was made of Mount Curios. Yeah, you stopped talking about them. We kind of need you to present them, not just look at this fascinating media guide from 69, guys. It's a pamphlet. I got no other material other than that.
No, that's perfectly fine. I'm good with that.
Thank you.
You just stop bringing stuff in.
I know. I'll continue bringing stuff in.
Same with the soups.
Where is it today? Where's your back in my day? It's Tuesday.
Do you have a soup?
No, I don't have a soup.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Zaslow has burst onto this scene, right? Very rarely has someone fit into our environment this seamlessly, so quickly. But he's also getting very comfortable, and so I can see him now, feel him getting annoyed by Jeremy before the show.
A little bit.
I've known Zaslow a long time, and I can see what's happening now as all of these chemicals come together, led by Greg Cote, who is spicy today. And we're going to get to some of the sound from his podcast. Chris, can you give me some context, please? Why is he doing this? Like, what is it, just to generate numbers in the modern age because the media has fallen apart and he needs to get his clicks? Or is he legitimately mad at me and Zaslow?
Now, ripping Dan definitely does numbies, so I don't know how honest he's being, but he definitely ripped you. And do you want me to just spoil it?
No. I don't want the context for what it is that he's done. I just want to understand what he's doing.
I think he genuinely, with him, he seemed genuinely upset about about with you. With Zaz, I just kind of asked him a question. He thought he was giving a compliment, and then
look, these two people have not liked these two people have not liked each other for 20 years. Okay, this is the rare time for the last few months they're in the same room together. Would you have considered him a nemesis? Like, where would he have been in terms of the media people you've feuded with? Charles Bricker, where does he rank on the list? He's top 10.
And look at me in the eyes when you say it.
Okay. He's top 10. Yes. What is he? No, that's a good ranking. Put that on your podcast instead of 50 catchphrases you don't have.
I don't have 10 enemies. He might not even make that list. Okay? He's been critical of me and my column writing. I tend to be critical of people who are critical of me. And so it's sort of a yin-yang thing. We're going back and forth.
I will say, what he did to Zaz was more backhanded. I think he thinks he was being neutral with Zaz.
I mean, what he did to me, I'd like to hear what he did to me.
We'll play
this is being built up.
I think he went in intending to rip. Zaz, I don't think he actually meant to, but did.
Okay.
Correct, on both counts.
All right, so let's do this, okay? Let's find out first, because I don't know why your father's mad at me. Let's find out first, why are you annoyed with Jeremy? What's going on with him? Because he's trade deadline. He won't shut up about everybody's being traded everywhere, and he's just, at one point I look at him, he's playing a flute and a bugle, and like, he just can't talk enough about the trade deadline, and we're like, still football, kid, still football.
Right, like I wouldn't go as far as to say Jeremy was being annoying. I wouldn't say that. But I will say, one thing I've learned about Jeremy, he can talk. He can talk. And we're doing the Jeremy show out there today. Save it for the air. All right, literally.
No, don't save it for the air. I'm good with it expiring out there and then never getting in.
But
here.
I got a full episode of the Jeremy show.
I know.
Over there.
We all did. We all do.
I'm trying to have my coffee. Maybe have a bagel and cream cheese.
It's every morning. It's aggressive. Mike comes in with the heavy metal music, and Jeremy starts talking to you until your eyelids frost over. Like, okay,
it's a nice remix. The death metal and Jeremy.
And today. Greg came in here spicy. First thing he said to me wasn't hello, it was respect yourself, because I'm telling him, your phone might ding during the show because you don't seem to
relax yourself.
Yeah, that's a fine. Not every genre of metal is death metal, you amateurs.
So I did do relax yourself, and I said respect, I think, by mistake, and it's in part because I think I have this right. Zaslow does not have any quibble with liking you. You're an extraordinarily likable person, but I do get the impression, and this is the place where it hurts Cody the most, because Cody takes the great pride of identity of being a columnist. I'm not sure that Zaz respects your opinion as a columnist. And I think that's the starting point. I don't think you dislike him. Greg's eminently likable.
All right. Zaz, be careful. Because what Dan just did has nothing to do with the Greg clip. He is just trying to further divide you.
Well, I mean, something's been put on the table here. I need to pick it up and respond.
Look at his face. He knows what he did.
Well, no, wait a minute.
He knows what he did.
Yes, he does.
Look, Greg.
No.
Yes,
I'm telling you.
This is why I'm smiling. No, this is why I'm smiling. I'm smiling because of what Zaz said, which is, no, you assholes, let me pick up this bit of content that Dan has handed me because it's a good space, because I'm a good radio person, because I know what's interesting.
You're in a playpen right now. You love this.
If somebody puts my name on the street, I'm going to respond. And Dan's telling me my name was on the street. So here's what I got to say about that. For one, when I first started doing this show, I didn't know Greg Cote personally from a hole in the wall, all right? All I knew was the columns. Do I care for the columns? Well, when you're a kid and you read a column that says trade Dan Marino, crushing your hopes and dreams as a little Dolphin fan, we're not off to a great start. But then, once I get to know him here in studio, I'm like, all right, this guy's not so bad. All right, this is a nice man, as I suspected, by the way. This is a nice man, as I suspected, and now getting to know him, like, you know what? I think I do like him. Don't care for the column, but personal. Which would you rather? Would you rather someone like me, Greg, care for you personally or care for you professionally?
Obviously, I'd like both, but
can't have everything.
Listen, I don't care if somebody doesn't love my columns. Not everybody does.
That's right.
It's fine. I got no problem with that, and I like Zaz, and I've gotten to know him better in the last several months.
I'm a nice boy.
We'll get to all of this in a second, but Chris, your takeaway when you left the podcast, okay, and it's the Greg Cote Show featuring Greg Cote.
Right?
Did you think that I was, it has gotten back to me that he just told me to bleep you, and that he's legitimately angry at me. And I don't know what it's about. It could be any number of things because your father's remarkably sensitive after all of these years of friendship.
It was an aggressive FU as
well, let's listen to that sound first. Let's listen to Greg Cote on the Greg Cote Show featuring Greg Cote, and I will find out with the rest of you what he's mad about because I do not know.
My problem is Dan Le Batard, of all people, who lost his vote in disgrace with good reason, being the guy who says, I should lose my vote because I changed my mind over the course of 6 years.
We're having two different conversations. I don't think you should lose your vote. I'm not with Dan on that, but I can't, the most you've ever sounded like Trump the way you're defending that tweet. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, first of all, never say that again. Le Batard, I know Le Batard very well. I know when he's serious.
We're having two conversations.
I know when he's serious and when he's not. He was serious when he said he thinks I should lose my vote. Well, you.
Man. I mean, he should lose it.
No. A, I shouldn't lose it. And B, you're the last person on earth who should be admonishing
Why? Because I took a noble stand with a compromised media and lost my vote over principle, or because of you, a shill for baseball who barely pays attention and forgets to vote in Andrew Jones and then votes him in years later?
I never forgot to vote for
No, you were
Andrew
vehemently
Jones.
against it.
Yeah, and so were about 20% of the electorate. I was one of dozens and dozens.
You said he'd never get in.
You did a condescending tweet that was dismissive of people even suggesting.
Right, and at that time, that was the climate for Andrew Jones's candidacy. Things change.
You can't.
Guess what?
You don't know.
Nothing changed, though.
People
Nothing
changed their mind.
Greg, nothing changed other than your mind.
Okay, why do you think that a number of players go 8 or even 10 years without getting in, and then let me
set this up for the audience again, because it was legitimately shocking to have a listener point out after Greg Cote parades around. Look, guys, I voted Andrew in this time as the sanctimonious gatekeeper.
Was that the face he made?
Yeah. I know my baseball guys. I asked my sons whether he was a good center fielder.
I had that tone of voice, did I?
Yes,
okay.
And it's like I didn't know anything about Michael Tucker or anybody of those Braves. Okay. I don't know anything about Andrew Jones other than that one scandal he had where he had the Gold Club trial and didn't know the names of either of the strippers he had slept with.
Michael Tucker. The hell?
Anyway.
Okay. Can I read the tweet?
Yes.
Andrew Jones didn't even spell his first name right. But
there it is.
But
Look
a great
defensive
player.
Look, the gatekeeper comes in with that one, telling minorities how to spell their name.
Minority.
There he is.
Everything's about a minority with you. I'm making fun of somebody's name.
I know,
not spelled correctly.
Yeah, but other people spell differently than Anglo-Saxons.
Anglo-Saxons.
It's always about that with you.
What were we in medieval times?
Andrew Jones.
Anglo-Saxons.
You a gatekeeper on whether Andrew Jones should be in the Hall of Fame while telling him his name is spelled wrong, and this tweet exists.
I'm kidding. I'm prodding. I'm poking.
This
I'm
tweet
fun.
exists of you.
5 years ago, all right, you screenshotted your 2021 Hall of Fame ballot. You remember everyone who you voted for back in 2021?
I do not.
I'm going to tell you. Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Manny Ramirez, Todd Helton, Curt Schilling, it's a dicey one, Gary Sheffield, Sammy Sosa, Omar Vizquel, and Billy Wagner. And you attach to it, appreciate all your comments on my Hall ballot, but one thing jumps out. You, Andrew Jones, folks, are delusional. Seriously. Good player. Hall, not close. Sub-zero, zero shot at Cooperstown. Sub-zero, if you prefer.
They should take your vote.
5 years ago, that was the truth. Every word of that was the truth.
I feel like if you asked Tim Kirkchin 5 years ago, he would say, it doesn't make my ballot this year, but you don't know, maybe further down the road. It wouldn't be a condescending, you're an idiot if you're even considering ever voting for him.
Okay, but Tim Kirkchin, whose baseball opinion I respect as much as anyone's, Tim Kirkchin would defend me right now because unlike everybody else in this room, Tim Kirkchin is a fellow voter like myself. And Tim Kirkchin realizes
he would defend not voting for him.
People changed their mind. That's why you think it was just
me?
But
generally the information changes, Greg.
No, wrong. You're wrong. Spilling coffee all over yourself.
You're wrong.
No.
You're wrong. Look out, read the tweet again. How do you defend this?
Okay, when you say people don't change their mind, obviously they do, because 5 years ago, Andrew Jones was getting about 22% of the vote, and he inched up to 75. Why?
Greg,
because dozens and dozens of voters
you don't vote,
like me decided
you
he's
don't
a Hall
vote
of
10
Famer.
in every year. The distinction that you're not making, that Tim Kirkshin would, is, and it's more polite and respectful of baseball than you are in this tweet. He's saying there were other 10 guys more qualified and I could only vote for these 10. He was 12th. I'll get him in 5 years. That's not what you said. You rained down judgment on this is not a Hall of Famer. That's not what you did. And you don't vote 10 in every year. You were holding on to that vote when you were with the steroid guys. You were holding on. You're very you're not lenient with your vote.
Matter of fact, you had 9 that year. You could have had a 10th.
That's another example of the electorate changing its collective mind. It used to be that the steroid guys were persona non grata. They got 10% of the vote, 15%. Now they're up to 40 or 50%. A lot, and I set the trend there. A lot of voters are coming on to the fact that it should not be a lifetime ban. It should not be a life sentence because you may or may not have done steroids 6 years
I'll
earlier.
get back to this in a second because we've got Mensa news and I also want to get to the UM schedule here. But I don't want to let this go because of how wrong he is about this and just defending really something that, while not immoral, is unbelievably beneath him.
I love that I get to use this expression correctly. This is inside baseball.
Yeah, and it's Hall of Fame vote, and it's the wheelhouse for Greg Cote because he's very proud of having this vote. So it insults him enough to say bleep you to somebody who has a different opinion than him because it means a lot to him to be a voter.
I'm just confused because on one hand, I'm very proud of Greg to say, hey, I was wrong back then. I've changed my mind. I'm allowed to do that. As I age, as I get more mature, as more data comes to light. But also, I'm not budging on this tweet.
It's great.
Just say,
It's
hey,
great.
that tweet,
You would think they go hand in hand, but nope.
This is what Erlene's married to. He'll come around eventually, but it'll never be in the moment.
Love the night? Reach for Zin After Dark, a limited cocktail-inspired series for those who get up when the sun goes down. Try Zin's Mojito, spiced cider, and espresso martini nicotine pouches. Find them at select retailers. Available while supplies last. Zin After Dark. Bring on the night. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Howdy, folks. Mike Ryan here. Quick break to talk to you about one of our show's longest, most tenured, and greatest partners, Miller Lite. I love this product because so many moments were made legendary by having Miller Lite there. And it's not just the good times. Sometimes you and your pals are sad because a game didn't go your way, and you take a sip of Miller Lite, and you still recognize, darn, this tastes good. And I made the right call. And that sound of cracking open that beautiful white can, it does make me feel better. Thank you, Miller Lite. So many legendary moments start with a Miller Lite. Miller Lite just fits pretty much any occasion. Clean finish, refreshing, brewed for taste with simple ingredients like malted barley, and at 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces, it never weighs you down. It's the taste that beer lovers have trusted for over 50 years. The original light beer since 1975 and still iconic today. Legendary moments start with Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
So, everyone's deploying AI agents now. They're automating tasks, running workflows, making decisions, basically moving faster than anyone can keep up with. And when they work, it's great. But when they don't, they delete the wrong files, make changes you didn't authorize, or just go completely rogue. That's the scary part of AI. It lets you move fast and break way more things in way less time. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that allows you to monitor, govern, and rewind AI agent actions. One platform to help you unleash more agents faster without the risk. It's running in the background the whole time, giving you full visibility, enforcing guardrails, and making sure agents don't go off script. This is why hospitals, banks are turning to Rubrik Agent Cloud. It's real AI resilience that doesn't slow innovation. If your business relies on AI agents, you need the ability to monitor, govern, and rewind their actions. Right now, Batard Show listeners get exclusive early access to Rubrik Agent Cloud. Head to Rubrik.com. That's Rubrik.com. Rubrik.com.
Dan Le Batard.
Yeah, very
Imagine if someone told you couldn't have a Corvette.
Stugotz.
I'm a grown-ass man who's not filthy rich. I can't afford a Lamborghini. Well, I probably can, but that's beside.
Whoa!
Hey!
Wow.
Okay, Greg.
No,
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
5 or 6 years ago, 80% of the electorate would have agreed with that
It's the
tweet.
being condescending,
there's
Dad.
no
It's not just not voting. Like, get that out of here. We're not criticizing you for not voting for him.
You were offended with anyone who said
you can have your reasons on why you didn't vote for him, but your reason in that tweet, it did not age well. You dismissed the idea of him ever. You say in that tweet,
delusional,
and it's never gonna happen.
You show me anybody trending at 20% right now, and I will say the same thing. There's no chance these people, this guy's going to get in.
All right, so Cody is sticking to, I was right at the time. He's a stubborn man. We'll get to his beef with Zaslow in a second. But, Mike, what is the Mensa news? And I'd like to go over, this has been a long time since I did this. Billy's going to be so mad. I'd like to go over the UM schedule with you. That's not a sentence I thought I would ever say again in my life.
Well, the schedule through the prism of potentially having a quarterback should make for a new discussion. The statement from Young Money. Through close collaboration and principled negotiation, we have successfully negotiated an unprecedented path, one that has now been reached fair and mutually with an agreeable resolution. We commend Darian Mensa for his extraordinary professionalism, maturity, and unwavering commitment to making the decision that best serves his future and family. His approach throughout the process exemplifies the highest standards of character and integrity. With that foundation in place, we are pleased to announce that Darian Mensa, supported by our legal team and legal counsel and Young Money, has reached a settlement agreement with Duke University. He has bought himself out of his NIL deal with Duke. His name was officially entered the portal. Darian Mensa is now free to go wherever he pleases.
And there are no restrictions, and there's nothing going to be coming forth in terms of court issues or injunctions.
Unless
or
part of the
anybody...
settlement. Unless part of the settlement was that he can't go a specific place, which I don't believe so, Darian Mensa is now free and clear to do what he pleases. This is, I believe, the first time an athlete has bought himself out of his NIL deal. I imagine wherever he goes will make him whole, because remember, this was not a Miami lawsuit as it was portrayed in the media. This was a Darian Mensa Duke lawsuit, and they have come to a settlement.
So can you give me some information on Young Money? Lil Wayne, is that his company?
I assume he's part of the financial backers of it. Yeah, it's an offshoot of the record
Okay,
label.
so now you see what's happening, right? Just pay attention to the game, because the agents and the hip-hop industry and people who know how to make money around the hustle, if you're going to say agents rule things and there are no rules, yeah, we'll just buy ourselves out there and we'll cash in the next future million over here when he goes to Miami and we make him a bigger star. That's the game we're playing now, just so that you know where the power is, how agents run things, and there's less governance there than there is anywhere in what is professional football. So the Lil Waynes of the world and their capitalist hustlers can get into this game, buy the players, say, we got you, kid, we'll front you, whatever.
I think you're seizing on the wrong thing. I'm not sure how involved. I know Lil Wayne is a financial backer here, but this is not anything different. Yeah, he's rep by Young Money, but there are a million agents that would handle this the exact same way.
No, let me backtrack, because what Mike is saying is correct, in that the news of the day, should there be no limitations, is that Mensa is probably coming to Miami, and the next news on that is whatever Duke is willing to or can put up as a fight of, no, we're not the minor leagues for Miami where you can just buy our quarterback when we've got to deal with him. Like, the business of this.
Fight's done.
I know. Okay, the fight is done now, and you're reporting that it's done and that Duke has no recourse.
Unless there's some new information. That's what settlements are.
So what do you imagine that conversation was like? The reason that I brought up the Young Money portion of this is because the ability to buy yourself out of a contract and future conflict is usually something the athlete does not have unless he's pressing against future earnings. So when the business of this comes and the agents get involved, as they are running the sport through these kids, what do you imagine this means to the business of football, as the business of football is what Miami just almost won last year?
I do think that this is an interesting case study because this is a whole new world with an athlete, specifically at that position, buying himself out of a multi-year NIL agreement. You don't often see multi-year NIL agreements, too. Darian Mensah was... I mean, he might be viewed as Curt Flood in a couple of different respects because Duke, with rev share money, poached Darian Mensah from Tulane, established a whole new market. Mensah got more than double what Cam Ward got for Miami. It sent the quarterback pricing market into a new stratosphere last year. And now he has bought himself out of a multi-year deal, again, kind of like Curt Flood. Just a whole new precedent.
Okay, so how do you guys feel about the Curt Flood thing? Because that is very religious sports language he's using. I want to come back.
It's a bit lofty.
I want to come back here for a second, though, because I've been guilty of being a bit lofty as it comes to Dion and what it is that he was doing and is doing in Colorado as the original business sports mercenary. Young Money, I think, also represented Travis Hunter, okay? And so one of the things that's happening here, Travis Hunter wins the Heisman. Travis Hunter gets Dion that contract. If Travis Hunter becomes a top 5 NFL player, the power in the sport that's going to the player after Northwestern threatened to unionize and everything that happened over the last 5 years, this is a really interesting precedent. If Mike's going to put it in Curt Flood territory, it's a pretty interesting precedent, the details on how you buy yourself out of this deal if you want to be the guy who replaces Fernando Mendoza because now Indiana's the big program with the big money and you want to be a $5 million a year quarterback.
I think where it can approach Curt Flood territory is you have Dabo, who's as old school as it comes, who's dealing with his own poaching situation and Ole Miss, calling for collective bargaining. People may look to this and say, if multi-year agreements don't mean anything and these athletes can just buy themselves out and score another NIL deal that kind of takes care of their lost wages when it comes to this settlement, then you have something that could potentially be viewed as, if not the tipping point, one of the major things that gets this closer to where it needs to be, which is a collectively bargained sport with clear and identified rules.
It is really fun precedent-setting chaos. Like, it really is. It's fascinating. If you don't have any morality about the capitalism of your games, like if you're just watching it as a test study, what's happened in the last 5 years to this sport where we all saw that the Mario Cristobal contract was something. If he's going to get the best players, if $90 million on a contract to a coach with a salary cap of about $21 million is going to get you all the biggest and the best players, then everyone's going to want to play that game. And to see Miami rocket through the last 4 years of, the whole thing's changing. It's going to be straight business, straight cash, homie. And to see what's happening where thousands of kids are being churned up in this portal. Like they get college football's door closes in their face. They go from one day to the other not realizing, oh, wait, we were doing business. I did it poorly. Thousands of kids in that portal are having their college careers ended. It's cruel. It's awful. But you're seeing the machine come to life, and there's no stopping it.
The rich get richer in college football right now. And look at what Miami's done. They've gone from record-setting Cam Ward to Carson Beck to Darian Mensah, presuming that they get him. That at the most important position.
Aren't we presuming that?
I would anticipate Darian Mensah being a Miami Hurricane now, and I do think what Greg is outlining is pretty spectacular in that
it is.
They got Cam Ward, they got Carson Beck, shit looked bleak, and they found a way to get a quarterback that, when held in direct comparison to Sam Leavitt. Yeah, because
Mike was very
was
worried.
Not in the portal.
I will tell you that 5 days before the national championship, Mike was very worried still, anxious about, we're not going to have a quarterback next year.
We're not going to be able to keep this thing rolling because Emory obviously knows about our pursuits. We were very aggressive in trying to get Sam Leavitt. Jimmy Sexton happened there. Jimmy Sexton, who also reps Lane Kiffin, isn't going to stick his neck out, make Lane pick what he believes is the best job in America, and not get Lane the quarterback that he wants. So that's what happened with Sam Leavitt. Ty Simpson wasn't a fan of how he handled his business, putting the number out there, but he had 32 NFL GMs telling him he was a first-round draft pick. There weren't really any great options. I was breaking down tape of Western Carolina quarterbacks, and they found a solution here, I think, potentially, if you're to believe what's out there with Darian Mensah, who I think is a spectacular quarterback.
This is an obvious solution.
An ACC champion.
I don't know why you would be bashful about this. To me, okay, I know that now in retrospect, everyone thinks they knew about whatever they thought they knew about Carson Beck or Cam Ward. But this kid, if you watched football last year, I mean, Trinidad Chambliss would have won the Heisman Trophy if we'd gone another day. But this kid looks like a professional quarterback. The Miami Hurricanes have solved their quarterback situation. They're going to go Cam Ward, Carson Beck, and maybe Mensah's a drop-off from Beck, but I don't think he is, actually.
No, I don't believe so either. What I like about Mensah is he's got some guts. We can call it how it is. I think Carson Beck was fundamentally changed after that Louisville game and was a little timid when it came to stretching the field. I'm not sure you're going to see Mensah be that timid. And if you get his receiver, his 1,000-yard receiver from Duke as part of the package deal, you're talking about a loaded Miami team that is well-positioned. And they can make another run. They got to win Charlotte. They got to win the ACC.
Well, let's get to the schedule in a second because buying the best quarterback and receiver from your conference champion, stealing those two players from Duke, however it is that you come about getting them, Miami will lose no momentum offensively because Malachi Toney is returning and a lot of good players are returning. Defensively,
and I believe Shannon Dawson is going to stay. There was some hearsay conjecture. He was offered up in some interviews. Some schools reached out to him. I don't think that that's fully buttoned up, but I anticipate Shannon Dawson staying.
People keep asking me about my 2026 resolutions, and I got the usual stuff. Watch more games, complain about the power play, and pretend like my team's actually going to stay healthy. But this year, the one at the top of my list is simple. Get comfy. That's where Bombas comes in. They bring serious comfort to my everyday essentials. Bombas just dropped their all-new sports socks, engineered for running, golf, hiking, skiing, snowboarding, basically whatever you're pretending you're about to be really into. And I'm trying to stay active this year by playing hockey. I need these socks. It has cushioning where you need it, it's sweat wicking, solid support, no distractions, just comfort. And for the everyday stuff, Bombas footwear has you covered. Sunday slippers for staying in, Friday sandals for quick errands, and the new Saturday suede slip-ons for when you want comfort but still need to leave the house. Premium everyday go-tos I don't really think about, which is kind of the point. And for every item you buy, Bombas donates one to someone facing housing insecurity. One bought, one donated. Over 150 million items so far. Head over to bombas.com/DKN and use code DKN for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/DKN, code DKN at checkout.
Super Bowl 60 deserves a sportsbook built for the moment. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 60. When anything can happen in the biggest game of the year, DraftKings has your back with early exit. If a player goes down in the first half, you can still get paid out in cash immediately once your bet settles. No bonus bets, no waiting. New DraftKings customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code DAN. That's code DAN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Every day at Sierra, you'll find top brand apparel, footwear, and gear for 20 to 60% less than department and specialty store prices. And during clearance time at Sierra, those incredible prices are 40 divided by 2.5, carry the 1, even lower. And when you shop clearance at Sierra, you can save a whole lot more on everything you need to get active and outside. That's a lot of saving. Epic brands, vast selection, teeny tiny prices. That's Sierra. Visit your local Sierra store today or shop online at Sierra.com.
Dan Le Batard.
Surely every time you're watching this, you recognize that your wife is laughing that she married yes. Larry David.
Yeah, I do, yeah. One of the great characters in the history of television, in my humble opinion. And to my credit, My personality,
in my humble opinion, followed by to my credit.
To my credit,
it's amazing.
My personality
it's just amazing.
does predate Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Stugotz.
Oh wow!
I'm not going to say Larry David patterned himself
You
after
copy.
me.
All right, put it on the poll, please, Juju. Did Greg Cote copyright being an asshole long before Larry David?
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
And if I may just say, parenthetically, Miami is doing this to Duke at the expense of a former coach, Manny Diaz, which is sort of a fun aside.
Well, Manny Diaz has won a conference championship. Mario Cristobal has not. And this is a funny aside in a number of different ways, as now Duke gets dragged again by big boy football, because that's a program that when Miami was coming up had a track around the field, and Duke was good at offense last year. Duke has been good at offense for a bit, and these two players that Miami got, a big, white, fast wide receiver that, never mind the whiteness of it, Miami didn't really have a number 2 last year. C.J. Daniels was hurt. Marion couldn't be trusted, and so you had Malachi Toney being asked to do too much. This guy's not a 2.
No, he's a perfect SAT guy, too. Cooper Barcade is pretty spectacular.
Coach's son.
And that game against Duke is certainly going to have a lot of juice if those two players from Duke end up coming to Miami. Really quirky schedule for Miami this year. Do we have sound of Mario Cristobal openly lamenting the one thing that he would look at the landscape of college football? You ask Mario Cristobal what's the one thing he would change about it, and he invoked the schedule.
One of the top things, it's minor in the eyes of many. I would eliminate Thursday and Friday games, man. College football's for Saturday. That drives me bananas. I know, and that's might be petty to some.
Yeah.
Man, I want college football on Saturdays. I really, really do.
So he's got 3 Fridays and a Thursday this season, including opening the season across the country in Palo Alto for a primetime Friday game. There's a lot of reasons to not like this, what it does to your body clock and whatnot. ACC games, they have this big deal with ESPN. They have that standalone national window. It might benefit some of the players on like the Heisman stage, but also they get spooky. We saw it time and time again. Now, hopefully a more consistent Miami means less spooky hours on Friday. But yeah, we got 4 of these bad boys, including a FAMU game that will go directly against the NFL kickoff, the first game of the season there. But it does line up pretty well for Miami. And when you consider the 2 storylines of the 2 programs and you look at their schedules, that November 7th game against Notre Dame is going to be so blown up and promoted. You're talking about potentially game of the century type of vibe surrounding that game when you consider all the storylines.
When you look at everything on there, okay, I should point out Manny Diaz is also the guy who refused to let Fernando Mendoza walk on to the University of Miami. But you look at that schedule, and when you talk about business building, put it on the poll, please, Juju, is college football for Saturdays? That's an easy schedule, and that Notre Dame game is an obvious monster. But what we just told you transactionally is going to put Miami in the playoffs next year if they don't get hurt. The thing that I was starting to say, though, is that it's going to be hard to replace that pass rush, right? You don't normally have. They fixed their defense in 1 year, and the reason they fixed their defense and the secondary was not exposed more is because in the sport they had the best pass rush because they've got 2 first-round edge rushers. Miami's never had those. Miami doesn't make first-round edge rushers, so to have 2 on the same team is going to be impossible to replace. And I don't say that to criticize Miami. I'm just saying you cannot have the expectation yet that you're the Georgia or Alabama defensive lines where you get all the first-round picks on the defensive line.
This is fair. You citing history is true. Miami's never had an edge rushing tandem the way that they had with Mesidor and Bain. Pretty illustrious program. Those are the best edge rushers we've ever had. They're both going to be first-round picks. Ruben Bain did a hit on the local CBS affiliate and he said he thinks Miami's defensive line is going to be better next year. Reasons for that: we saw Marquise Lightfoot really come online. Hayden Lowe has been injured all season last year, but he's a gamer, a 5-star type of guy. You look across that entire defensive line, they are all 5-stars, with the exception of Moton, who was fantastic for this team last year. And I will snap back a little bit in that, yes, the edge rushers were amazing. Huge credit to them. Big part of the turnaround. Corey Heatherman, I think, deserves a ton of the compliments here, because Jacoby Thomas and Keontae Scott, not with huge fanfare, they tried to move Keontae Scott to an outside corner at his previous stop. He identified those players. He's exceptional when it comes with those nickel safety hybrid type of guys, and I think Heatherman's going to be a head coach real soon.
Also, a shout out to Jason Taylor and the job he's done with the U.
Okay.
And Damian Lewis.
All right, we don't need this to be an acceptance speech. We can shout out whoever it is that you like in terms of credit. What I'm telling you fixed their defense is they had 2 first-round pass rushers. It fixed it in 1 year. And while Mike can be as enthused as he likes about an assortment of 5-stars, and he should be, because this is how you build the momentum to having the D-lines that Alabama and Georgia had that have to win up the front, because you got bigger, stronger athletes up front. Miami's springboarded into, they just took Duke's position players. That won the conference. With 5 losses, that won the championship game, and it did so with offense. Like that, they did so because that receiver and that quarterback. It's not because of the line play. And so it sounds like I'm questioning that they can do it as well as they did last year, as Mike hyperventilates, because it's understandable. This is exciting if you're a Miami fan. I've watched 50 years of UM football without seeing one guy like that on their defensive end. Like, not one, not Calais Campbell. Not one guy have I ever seen like the 2 they had this year. And it fixed their defense, and it made their defensive coordinator look great, because nothing's more important than pass rush.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Reuben Bain was named the number 2 player in the entire country by ESPN's Top 100 postseason list. Number 2 in the whole country after only Mendoza. And Mesidor, I think, really was as good as Bain for a lot of the season.
An older player. Bain had some injuries last year, but I will say Bain and Mesidor were on that bad defense last year, and it didn't really matter much. They also brought in Damon Wilson, a 6'4" guy from Mizzou that had 9.5 sacks. That'll add to that rotation on the defensive line. And I'll defer to Reuben Bain, who's seen these guys in practice. Some guys that you may not be familiar with. Some guys that do some work on Green Tree that haven't featured this season, like Hayden Lowe. When Reuben Bain says he thinks the D-line is going to be better, I think we should listen.
Zaslow, are you still stewing in what the beef is here with Cody, or
just like to know?
All right, so here, let's play the sound here. Let's circle back around here to Zaslow's discomfort around Cody, and Cody just asked point blank on the Greg Cote Show featuring Greg Cote by his son,
it says with right
who
there.
I wonder where he learned all this shit stirring. It's not something you should do.
Well, Dad, how do you feel? Dad, has Zaz grown on you? Like, do you find yourself? Is your opinion the same, worse, better? Of like, just in your 4 months working with Zaz occasionally?
I would say it's and I think he told Batard that his opinion of me has improved. I think it's the same, because when you get to know somebody personally, I think you get to appreciate more who they are.
You just said it's the same.
Well,
better.
I don't, and I would say this to his face. I don't love his style of announcing or talking. What
a cutting thing to say.
That gives him actual character and
personality.
To me, he's the New York radio guy, the boisterous, just the guy who's like over the top with.
There you go. The guy that can actually communicate to his audience. I find it hilarious.
He's over the top, right? He's too loud. They never.
What don't you like with the way I communicate?
Okay.
What don't you like with what I do on this show?
Okay.
What don't you like with the way I express myself and get my opinions? Okay. What's the matter with what I'm doing here?
Okay, you could have said that a little softer.
There's nothing wrong with the way I talk.
And made your point. No, my point, and I said at one point that I would say this to your face, and I will. I prefer Mike Wilbon style to Stephen A. Smith style.
Showing up and wearing a Benny the Bull mascot?
If I'm being honest, I don't like the shouting opinion.
What are you doing there? You a sorceress? What are you doing there with your hands?
All right.
Whoa.
Okay. That's fine. It's fine. I was much more angry at you daring.
Whoa, that is deflection.
See, that's what I mean. He thinks what he did to Zaz there. He's like, what?
I don't think
you said you don't like his style, talking,
The
or
way he's
announcing.
not my preference.
You don't like the way he presents, and you did so through an assortment of coughs. That's the funniest thing you've ever done right there, the way all of this dismounts. You criticizing his style while you can't get your style beyond the cough.
And I gave you a compliment that my opinion of you has changed since I've gotten to know you sitting here once or twice a week for the last almost year. And you said your opinion of me is the same.
No, I think actually, yes. He was saying the same as Zaz, mine has grown. That's
Right,
what he.
yes, which I said later in the interview.
Oh, all right.
But then-
you're
but that's what I
saying
mean.
I don't communicate very well. What are we
Then
talking about here?
Right after that, you're just like, but I don't like the way he talks.
I didn't say you don't communicate very well. I said you communicate in a boisterous manner that is not my preference.
I don't know what you're referring to there.
I think he's great at what he does. He's been big in this market for decades.
Go on.
I'm not surprised that he got the coveted gig on as your sidekick. I think he's very good.
Yes.
But when you get into that loud shouting thing and you're like New York radio,
Did you just promote him to New Gods?
I think I did.
You did?
Am I breaking news?
I don't. Well, that's not news. You're breaking news that's not true.
Oh, okay. We'll see.
Who's telling Tony?
Living my life.
This is incendiary, I believe. Let's play this sound again of Greg Cote because you cannot do funnier than how this clip closes.
Well,
Dad, how do you feel? Dad, has Zaz grown on you? Like, do you find yourself? Is your opinion the same, worse, better? Of like, just in your 4 months working with Zaz occasionally?
I would say it's and I think he told Batard that his opinion of me has improved. I think it's the same because when you get to know somebody personally, I think you get to appreciate more who they are.
You just said it's the same.
Well, I don't, and I would say this to his face, I don't love his style of announcing or talking. The
what a cutting thing to
the
say.
thing that gives him actual character and
personality.
To me, he's the New York radio guy, the boisterous, just the guy who's like over the top with.
There you go. The guy that can actually communicate to his audience. I find it hilarious.
He's over the top, right? He's too loud.
Too loud.